Welcome to another edition of Banter and Babble. I am the Dude79, and joining me always, my esteemed colleague, Mr. Fanboytone. Mr. Fanboytone, what's going on, dude? It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. The recovery has now taken 3 weeks.
It has been a minute. What's going on with you, man?
Not a whole lot. Just work. Pretty much just been really busy with work and working a little extra here throughout the end of the day and sometimes throughout the night. None big, honestly.
Yeah, you're a working machine, dude. I mean, seriously, where the hell have we been?
Well, you went away for a week to do something, some adventuring, maybe
Vacation time with the family.
Vacationing. Gosh, I don't know. What have I really been? I really don't feel like I've done a whole lot of
anything.
anything.
You've been drunk a lot.
Oh, I can tell you.
Uh-oh.
At the very least. Well, yeah, okay. So yeah, now I'm getting my brain wrapped. I wasn't ready for the question. Okay.
Sorry about that, man.
The weekends. I said I was going to take it easy after the 50th episode. Do you know what I've done after every weekend of that?
What's that?
Not taking it easy.
No, you haven't.
Matter of fact, last Saturday I just said at around 3 o'clock, I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna start drinking again." And just and I'm not like, but to be fair, I'm not getting like smashy hammered, but
yeah, you are.
I'm
those
definitely
pictures you sent me were very smashy hammered.
Either way, but here's my most exciting news for me, just generally. Last Saturday was Free Comic Book Day.
Ooh.
In the last X amount of time since they started that, I mean, I don't know how long it's been going on. I have never been able to enjoy Free Comic Book Day because I had worked Saturdays in retail.
Yep.
So I made damn sure that I was able to get out this last Saturday, go over to the local comic book store here in town, Coy's Comics. Love you guys out there, by the way. I know you probably don't see this too often, but seriously, Coy's Comics here in Saginaw. It was great to get there. Hit up the Free Comic Book Day. They had local artists in there and other artists as well, too.
Oh, really?
Doing stuff. You could get stuff drawn up for you. You could make donations. A lot of great stuff.
Or like
like specific ones. Yep, different stuff. Yeah, there's actual like comic book characters and stuff like that. Like some of these guys are pretty renowned, so It was really exciting. So I had my friend Scott was out there doing some artwork. I got some really sweet Joker artwork. If you guys saw my Instagram as well too, he did some really awesome artwork as well too. But I got some free comics and that was cool. I bought this new thing for my Star Wars themed bathroom. Got a new picture for there and just went and said hi to everybody and hung out. So it was a good time. So
that's pretty dope, man.
That was exciting to do that.
Sounds like that was a good time. White Wolf says, "What up, guys? We missed you last night, Tome, but with Eve crying at the end, it felt like you were there in spirit."
Who was crying?
The baby. The baby was crying.
Oh,
and it sounded just like you when you were playing Mario Kart. So it was like you were there, but you weren't there. I did my fair share of crying because I couldn't stay on the course half the night, but
I managed to lurk for a little bit when I was able to in between watching some TV with the fam, but I did notice there was a couple of it wasn't the Rainbow Road one, it was that Ghost House one, I think, and you kept falling off. Yeah. It was the piano one or something.
Yep. And
you would turn around a corner and just fall off the side. I was like, fucker.
I was most displeased with my driving last night. It was not great. But it was fun. And a lot of people show up. A lot of the usual suspects were in there. Megara brought a ringer named Katie, and she was supposed to be dominant, but I was still waiting for either of them to dominate because yeah, they weren't as dominant as they sold me on. I was expecting better. That's
a little harder to buddy system in Mario Kart than it is Among Us. So
that's very true. It's very true. But no, it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. Glad everyone who don't forget who was dominating. Yes, Crash had a very dominating. Strong. Crash was
Donkey Kong.
Very strong.
Were you playing Donkey Kong?
I don't know, man. He blew by me so fast I couldn't even see who he was.
I did catch a couple of times where he was like, I know the fireballs. I remember hearing him say, "How in the fuck did he miss all those fireballs he shot at you?"
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I was like Neo going through his fireballs.
That was pretty fun. I did catch that for a hot minute. I'm like, that's pretty funny.
He's always Donkey Kong.
Making excuses.
Yeah, right? Crash was dominating. They dominated making excuses. Yeah, Megara was very full of excuses. Oh, my Joy-Con's not working and this and that. I was like, girl. It was always every time I won the match, too. She was like, oh, this broke or that broke. I was like, all right, I've had enough of this nonsense. So,
well, if anybody out there does have a Switch and wants to play some Mario Kart sometime, I think that's the new hotness right now. I'll be very honest with you. I've been dabbling on that a couple times throughout the week. It's way more fun.
Cuddles actually sold me on trying out Splitgate. Have you seen that?
He was talking to me about that. I think I don't know. Yeah,
it's like a mixture of Halo and Portal.
Yeah, he was talking about that.
Portals that you go through and you can like use them in various ways to like get the advantage on people and stuff. It sounds pretty sweet. I played a little bit when it dropped on PC, I think it was an early access. Played a little bit of it,
fun,
and
okay.
yeah, Outcry's played it. Outcry says it's fun. It is from what little I played, but it was an early access. But I know a lot of people are really enjoying it. Social media people have been really talking about it, so it's starting
exciting.
Starting to generate some buzz now that it's out on the consoles now, and it's got crossplay. And Cuddles was telling me that you can do a private room with up to 16 people.
Oh,
so that could be shenanigans big time for a community night game.
No, Cuddles didn't get a chance. Sorry.
Tony, did you ever watch the trailer? No, he doesn't watch shit, dude.
He sent me something.
He never watches anything. I sent him a trailer. Hey, should we talk about this? And he's like, yeah. And then we go to talk about it. I go, did you watch it? He's like, no.
Yeah, but it's usually for something like on Pornhub.
Well, I mean, there's conversations.
It's not one of my favorite categories that you usually send
conversations
me.
there. I mean, you can. We're talking about the plots. Some of the plots are getting pretty intricate, so I like that.
Plot.
What did I do? I went on vacation.
Thanks, Crohn's.
And then the week after, we went into COVID lockdown because my wife got COVID.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is great.
Shit.
Fully vaccinated. She's fully vaccinated. She wears masks wherever she goes.
Yeah.
Somehow she managed to contract it, and but thankfully, she got through the week just fine. She went back to work this week. You know, and because she was fully vaccinated, her symptoms were minimal. I mean, she lost smell. I think she was tired when we got home on Friday. She was tired, and that's when she noticed she was she couldn't smell anything. So she went and got a home test, came back positive. So immediately she was like, all right, bye. And so she went in the bedroom, basically quarantined there. One got an official test on Sunday, came back positive. So she just locked herself in the bedroom for basically a week.
Dang.
Which is super fun when the kids can't go to daycare and you're trying to work all day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not ideal. It's not ideal at all. It was an exhausting week.
I can imagine. It's probably good of you to actually, walk a mile in her shoes for a week, though.
Right, seriously, it basically was. And I had to basically do everything that she does, but only at the shitty version of it because I suck at everything that she does.
Right.
So, yeah, once mom is out for a week, you realize just how fucking useless you are.
Breakfast, Dad? SpaghettiOs.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Right.
Yesterday's leftover SpaghettiOs is for breakfast. Whatever was left was carrying over. But, no, that was really an exhausting week mentally. We didn't do a show last week. We were gonna do a B&B community night, but I just didn't have it. I was just burned out from the week. But
yeah,
she went back to work on Monday this week. Kids are back at daycare. Everyone's good to go. So last night we did a B&B community night. We couldn't have you there because you were celebrating
my wife's birthday.
The wife's birthday.
Yep. So I
what'd you guys do?
Not a whole lot. She actually had to work through part of the evening, so. I did go out and get her favorite. We usually go to this place locally that we've talked about as well, called Gabby's for the burgers. So that's usually what we do for our birthdays. Go to Gabby's.
Burgers.
Yep. So I went and got us a meal, and then we just sat and the normal just watch TV. But
what'd you get on your burger?
I actually got the black and blue again. So here's the thing, because I've had pretty much their entire burger list.
You on the entire roster.
Oh yeah, I think there might be one, maybe two of the almost 20 they've got in there that I haven't had, but it's just because I don't care about the toppings or what's on them or whatever. But I actually have been really into their fish lately. However, that said, their perch is really good. Last night I did get just tried and true for me is a black and blue. If I don't want to think a pick, I don't want to go, oh God, I got to debate through these. I'm just going to go black and blue, call it a day, and move on.
That's your go-to?
Yep.
I think mine is a Swiss and grilled onions. Swiss and grilled onions is my go-to.
That's good.
But then when you go to places like Gabby's or if you go to Cody's and then you start to see some of these more exotic burgers that they have, you're like, okay, I got to step away from the norm, get outside my comfort zone, start trying this shit out.
You have to.
Gabby's does have a nice list of burgers.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty good, too. I was really surprised, man, because when you first told me about that place, coming from a guy who loves White Castle, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to like
that joke is getting old as fuck.
But everyone really appreciates it. Was on a breakfast burger kick for a minute.
They've got the best breakfast burger you'll ever have. It is so good that they bring it out once in a while. Mm-hmm. They've got one that has egg on it, but their true breakfast one, it's a brick of hash browns, and it comes with the egg on it, of course, and they give you a nice sized cup of sausage gravy.
Shut the fuck up!
I swear to you, it's fucking unreal. If you can manage to eat that entire fucker, I swear.
Oh, is that a challenge?
You'll get the itis.
Let me know the next time I get it. I will. You can record
out.
me eat that whole
it's
fucking
hard
thing.
to get hold of because they do food. Their food is so good, and it's because it's fresh. It's freshly prepared. They'll get stuff, and it'll be gone. Like they start doing crab rangoon out there. They're really good, by the way. And he's like, yeah, we run out of this real fast. But they had bluegill out there recently too, which is really good.
You told me about the bluegill. Yeah.
Bluegill was some of the best. I haven't had bluegill in a while, but the perch dinner I had was already amazing. And he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna get you some bluegill. Try the bluegill." So he brought some bluegill for me to try.
Really?
Jesus fuck yeah. Gabby's out on the crossing
Swan
there
Creek
of
and
M52.
M52, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit ways out there, but yeah, their fucking burgers are really, really good, man.
Yeah, it's good food.
I like to order from there, and I like ordering from Cody's. Those are like my go-to spots right now.
Cody's, Flanagan's, and of course 989 are some of the big ones, and Sushi Inn, kind of like
I got
rounded.
Did you see that picture of that Piper I got?
Yeah, man.
I deviated from the Burnham. I took a quick break, and the goddamn Piper was incredible. It's like an Italian. It's basically an Italian sandwich: ham, pepperoni, salami.
Yeah, it looked incredible.
And I love it when they get you banana peppers on a
Absolutely.
sub like that.
Especially like an
so
Italian
good.
style that banana pepper has. Do you see what Cuddles just put out there?
Cuddles. Oh, hang on. I get this burger called the Backyard Burger. It has an entire cookout on it. Burger topped with kielbasa, baked beans, mac and cheese. I would eat that.
I would slay that.
I would definitely eat that. That sounds really fucking good. But no, seriously, the next time they have that,
let you know. Okay.
Let me know. And when you mentioned they put that brick of hash brown, lately what I've been doing sometimes when I go to McDonald's for breakfast and I get their sausage egg McMuffin, I get the hash brown with it. I put the hash brown.
Yeah, that's smart.
On the sandwich.
That's smart.
I don't know. It's great on the side, but I'll actually just open that sandwich up and just between the sausage and the egg.
Yeah, it's
phenomenal.
That's smart. And Crash, you're actually wrong. That's the you meant the Gratiot Road one in Shields is the best one.
Which one's that?
The Tony's.
Which Tony's is the best and why is it? No, he's absolutely right. It's State Street.
No.
You take the Gratiot one? Actually, no. Yeah, State Street's the best one. Not Center Road.
No,
not fucking Gratiot. Not behind the mall.
The mall one's all right compared to some of the other ones.
The only thing good about
Road
the one behind the mall is when you order a pound of bacon, you basically get 2 pounds.
Yeah, it's like the Birch Run one.
They give you. They're like, here's your pound of bacon. You're like, I'm pretty sure that's 2. But thank you.
The Gratiot one has always been really consistent and always real good for us.
Yeah, if you like second rate, it's the State Street one. No. Always, absolutely. Grash is better than State. Okay, I'm gonna block Forge. We're gonna block Tricky Regent. Birch Run, absolutely not.
Birch Run is supposed to be the best of the best. That's the one that started. That's the one that was on
Forge, dude.
Wait. The Birch Run is the one that was on the Food Network, though. That was the one that I don't know if it was Driver's Diners or whatever it was, but
fuck what it was on, dude.
Anyways,
they didn't know about the State Street one apparently. So it's whatever. State Street one is infinitely better. So Forge is crazy, you're dumb, and everyone else is stupid. So there we go.
It's Gratiot Road.
My mom used to work at Gratiot Road Tony's. Unless they've changed a lot, I would advise against eating there. Boom. There you go. Enjoy, Forge. Enjoy your Gratiot Tony's.
It is amazing.
Yeah. Apparently, Wolf's mom says it's advised not to eat.
How long ago was that?
I hope he says like a week ago.
I think they got new owners a while ago, actually.
Actually, yeah, I think the owner there passed away.
I don't fucking know.
Actually, I do remember that. I think the owner there passed away.
Yeah, well.
Probably from eating the food.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to a breakfast and banter, by the way.
Gratiot used to do buy one, get one steak sandwiches. I mean, that's a nice deal. It's a good deal, but it's
yeah, half-ass. We all know Gratiot's a better one.
What the fuck did your mom do? White Wolf's mom got called out.
Yeah, so
what
we should be
safe. What did she do to the steak sandwiches exactly?
Yeah, which by the way, I did have a steak sandwich a couple days ago from that location, and it was. Awesome.
I do love a Tony steak sandwich, man. It's always good. Dude, there'll be times when I first started working from home, I like to order Tony's breakfast. Okay. But then I just started ordering steak sandwich for breakfast. 8 a.m. I would call there. I'd be like, I'd like to order breakfast. They'd be like, what can I get for you? I'd be like, I need a steak sandwich. And they're like, oh, okay. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I need a steak sandwich. And they're like, oh, okay. And I go in there and pick that shit up, steak sandwich for breakfast. I don't care. The steak sandwich is incredible. Old Town Drive-In has a really good steak sandwich.
Do they?
I'm going to be unpopular here. I'm going to go unpopular opinion.
Shut up.
Don't Old Town Drive-In, their sauce, not good.
Their coney sauce?
Overrated.
I agree with that, actually.
And I don't mean by a little. Insanely overrated.
I can kind of get that.
Absolutely,
I'm not going to debate that. I like them. I'll eat them. But, I get that.
Absolutely overrated. Don't like their coney sauce.
Well, I don't expect any. I don't walk into a Tony's and go, man, bet this place got a clean kitchen. That's one of the last places.
Nobody says that.
Yeah, it's the same with walking into a Big John's. Do I think a Big John's got the cleanliest kitchen? Nope.
Man, speaking of, I'm just powering through these. Should we talk about these before they're gone?
Yeah. Yeah. We should probably stop. We should stop. Back it up.
Yeah, we can go crazy. We can go crazy. Yeah, Freezy. Look, look. First of all, here's Freezy. I respect his opinion on food. He's a phenomenal cook. He makes a great piper and a great Burnham sandwich. That right there is the man, the myth, the legend at 99 Cafe. But yes, absolutely, the Old Town Drive-In Coney sauce is highly overrated.
I think the Coney. I'm not going to get into that conversation because I kind of agree. However, I still get them because I enjoy them, and you smother some mustard on there. They're great. Their burger bag fry deal is amazing. Their
Better
food's
than
really
Coney
good.
Sauce, yes.
Okay, moving on.
I'm just saying, man, it's overrated.
Listen, we're basically saying, Freezy, that of a lot of the places we've talked about, you are 989's like in the echelon there of those. So no worries.
No, we've been talking about it, man. That Piper the other day was absolutely filthy.
Crash, that place is overrated. Just saying.
What, Court Street Cafe?
Yeah. It was overrated.
You didn't like the Court Street Cafe?
It was overrated.
Man, you know what? You just suck with food.
It was overrated.
Man. No, like your opinions on food suck.
It was overrated.
You like White Castle and you think Court Street Cafe
I do not like
is
White
overrated.
Castle.
Dude, okay, whatever.
Stop that.
Okay,
I'm gonna hit you with this microphone.
I'm just telling you what I know.
Bop you upside the head.
Anyways, what have you been playing? We play games around in these parts, don't we?
I don't know.
Well, you bought an Xbox Series X. Tell me, which first-party exclusive Xbox game have you been enjoying the most off Game
Well,
Pass?
that's funny you should ask because there's not a lot to choose from. So instead, I've been playing Knights of the Republic 2003. KOTOR.
Unbelievable. Are you almost done with it, though?
Finally.
Really?
Yeah, I'm almost done with it. I'm getting close.
Oh, wait, you know what?
I've got about 50-some hours
into it. We just forgot to talk about the fucking beer.
Yeah, man, you're leading this shit, bro.
Dude, we just talked about food for 45 minutes. Let's talk about what we're drinking.
Yeah, we are drinking from Dark Horse Brewery, one of the early breweries here in Michigan that I started kind of going down getting back into the craft beer pretty seriously many years ago at this point. What?
No, it didn't update.
What didn't?
No, it didn't. It didn't put the right drink in there.
Hit the right button. So, it is Dark Horse Brewing again. Once it's called Check to the Head Cream Ale. It's got some really sweet can art here. It looks like somebody might be wearing a Red Wing jersey, and basically it's a dude getting his head smashed in with a hockey stick and an elbow. So
there it is.
Not overly the most flavorful of beers.
Yeah, when we
it's
popped
a very
it open and we're like,
it's a smooth. Not overly like bursting with flavor, but I feel like it's something like you're drinking it like that because I think that's part of the danger of it. It's kind of like just drinking like some random ass Americanized Pilsner.
It's very subtle. You don't even think about it when you're drinking it. You don't think
right.
about it when you're drinking it. Absolutely.
So, while we usually like a lot of flavor in our drinks, I think sometimes it's nice to find something that like this that's just a really chill cream ale. So.
It is very, very chill. But yeah, I imagine if you keep pounding me at this rate, you're probably going to be a hot mess by the end of the night. So.
Absolutely.
But no, not bad, not bad. But anyways, back to what you're playing. You've been doing KOTOR.
Yeah, just been playing. I've got as of last night, I got about 51 hours into it.
No, Forge, you didn't hear that wrong. He bought a Series X to play a 20-year-old game. It's cool like that. He's edgy. He's an edgelord.
So I've been trying to play KOTOR for a couple of years, just like on and off. And like when I bought the Series X, I'm like, I can
play KOTOR.
Well, I haven't turned the PS5 on in probably almost a week, but I've been using the Xbox Series X more for my media watching. And just because that's on, like I'll take 20 minutes here or there and pull up KOTOR. Well, 50 hours later, well, it hooked me. It re-hooked me again, and it is what it is. But I don't know. I'm kind of in a gamer funk right now. There's things I was working really hard on my backlog, and I'm just in a funk right now. And there's not a ton of things coming out that I'm overly excited for, except for next week there might be something. But and tomorrow.
Yes.
And some other little things, but
really, really hyped about a couple of games. But first, let's talk a little bit about Tribes of Midgard. Last time we turned it on your PS5, you played Tribes of Midgard. That's a game that we've been playing with Drastin, Seven Dungeons.
A little bit. I once in a while play.
A couple of the guys from the Seven Dungeons stream. We've been playing that with Tricky Regent, a couple others. I like that game so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's really cool, especially when you can get a lot of people into a room.
Right.
You get 6 or 7 people and you're working together trying to survive Ragnarok. Take down the Jotuns. It's actually a really fun game to play. There's a lot of hilarity involved when you're in there doing it. People are dying and getting pissed off because they're getting attacked by a dragon or some shit. I'm really, really digging the game. My only issue with the game right now is for whatever reason on PlayStation 5, this thing is running at 40 frames. And it's starting to irritate me more and more because just about every other game we're playing is 60 frames. So you see these smooth games, and I'm not saying this is it's a cheap game or that there's not a lot going on, but this is not a demanding game. at first glance. You know, it's not, and it would look a lot better if it was running really smooth. That's really my only issue with it. You know, there's some little things, quality of life stuff they could do, but overall, like it's actually a really fun game if you have a bunch of friends and you hop in there. You can play up to 10 people. Have you tried deleting it? No, I haven't tried it, but I'll try that next, Cuddles, and see if that gets up to 60 frames. But your thoughts on it? I mean, you're digging it?
I you know, and I haven't played as much as you guys. You guys definitely pulled ahead of me because of my gamer funk. I just really haven't been feeling a lot of gaming besides KOTOR when I'm ready. But it takes a lot of good things from a lot of other games and matches them well. It's really hard to kind of like categorize. I think one of the better ones was
Survival meets
Diablo meets Pixel Junk Monsters, like all that shit. And you know what? It works really well. Like it's real. It's a very smart game, and it's really really fun. It really honestly is fun. But you know, you guys just pulled right ahead on that.
Well,
on me.
The thing is, there's no really. It's not like when you say pull ahead, it's not really. There's nothing to really pull ahead. I mean,
no, there really isn't. Honestly, you guys just are unlocking stuff, and like you can still play the game without unlocking stuff. You can, you know, if there's somebody still got to like help fight shit and help get resources, so it's all part.
I mean,
and that's what's
the
nice
thing
about
is,
it.
the classes that you have available to you are good classes. Like the warrior class and the ranger class. I mean, I'm not really digging the ranger class because I suck with the bow. But the warrior class has some perks in there that are actually very beneficial, that are useful. So even if you don't have all the other classes unlocked, you can be an integral part of like your team's success as a warrior.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun playing with friends. I'll be curious to see what kind of longevity this game has. We know there's going to be seasons. So we're in the first season right now. I think the next season starts in it's October. So I'll be curious to see how this game evolves. I really do hope they get that update out to make it 60 frames just so it's a smoother experience, because it is a really pretty game. It's got a nice art style. It'd be cool if they kind of smoothed it out a little bit. There are still, what season is crossplay? I have no idea, Blanco. I really wish they would add that shit. I know they keep talking about it in the Discord. It's something they're looking into, but they're not ready to confirm it. Now, we do know that this game is going to be exclusive to PlayStation 5 through October 21st. So maybe when it drops on Xbox and wherever else it's going to drop, maybe then that's when they'll activate crossplay. Maybe they're just waiting on ironing things out and getting everything to work.
Even if they did cross-save, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, cross-save would be nice, but I think for an indie studio... Well, I mean, then again, it's not indie. I mean, they're an indie studio, but they're published by Gearbox. So, I mean... yeah, you know... I mean, I would be shocked if it's not on Game Pass, Blanco. I would be shocked if it went to Xbox and it wasn't on Game Pass. That's a Game Pass game. That's written all over. That's a Game Pass title. So... I'll be curious to see where it lands on Xbox. It should be on Game Pass because that way you can get a lot of people in there. And there's enough cosmetic, cool things in there that might get people to buy stuff with real world money, and that's where they can make some extra cash. But that looks like it's a Game Pass game for sure.
That's a good point. Cuddles says, what isn't on Game Pass anymore? We did try, some of us in here as well, too, did check out the Back 4 Blood beta.
Yeah.
Wow, I gotta say, like, as somebody like I enjoyed Left 4 Dead for a little while back in the day. You know, hey, they're back, and this they definitely added some RPG elements, which gives it more of a layer. A lot of games do that hybrid now.
Card system, yeah, like card system and everything.
I don't know if I'd buy it just because I have some love-hate with that series, but I definitely will probably be playing this with everybody on Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, man. Like that game it's a lot of fun. But it's very similar to a game that comes out next week that we're looking forward to, and that's Aliens Fireteam. That drops on Tuesday. And, I mean, there's only so many co-op games you can fit into your schedule. And, I mean, Aliens Fireteam, obviously we're big fans of Aliens. You know, it's a sweet IP. It's something that resonates with us. I'm curious about this game. I know they've got the roadmap out there. It's a $39.99 game. You can buy the $69.99 version, and that gets you, like, the entire season pass for the year. I'll be curious to see what kind of legs this game has. Obviously, we've seen a little bit of gameplay here and there. Once we get our hands on it, I hope it's really, really good. I hope it's good.
You know, we're big fans of The Predator, and that's a smaller studio trying to do as much as they were. And honestly, the game is still living and breathing. It's still a fun game. It wasn't without its issues at launch, but it didn't have a lot of terrible issues. It will be interesting to see how this game does go, just simply for the fact of we've been down this road before a little bit. However, I would also argue that they look like they have more money with their studio. Like they clearly took some hints from Predator, which is fine. I do like the fact that not somebody doesn't get to play as like the alien. I don't think like everybody's on the same fire team,
right?
So it's nice. That'll be kind of nice, I think. It's only 4 players.
3-player co-op.
Is it 3-player co-op?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it's a small title game, but you know, like it's Alien, so you know, day one we are definitely gonna be fucking with that.
And see, there's a lot of like co-op games dropping this fall. I mean, we have this Aliens Fire Team, we have Back 4 Blood. Also, World War Z is getting a massive update, and I know Cuddles has talked about that. That game is actually really fun. World War Z is
you were
really
telling me
really
about
good.
That again recently too.
And that's getting a huge update. It's also getting a next gen support, so that game's gonna be running better, looking better. And I mean, their content drop coming up is substantial. It's adding some big horde modes. It's adding a bunch of new maps. So, I mean, you're going to have these 3 co-op games kind of existing in the same space, trying to thrive, and they're not all going to take off. So, I mean, Aliens, and the thing about Aliens Fire Team that always scares me is obviously the Alien IP has not done well in the video game space.
It has not.
That's my
You're
biggest
right.
concern.
Yeah, that is definitely a concern.
A lot of these developers and these publishers, when they get their hands on the Alien IP, they're just like, cool, people will buy it because it's Alien. Minimal effort.
Right. And and here's the thing, like now in Gearbox, I'm looking at you when it comes to Alien Colonial Marines, but that's kind of the point with like how I am with games right now and the time I feel like I've had not to play games is, and that's why I said Back 4 Blood going to be on Game Pass or not, because I'm not going to buy it.
Right.
But if people are going to play it, I might pick it up for Friday night and play. Alien on the other hand, because it's one of my favorite like just generally cinema IPs.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to throw some clamshells at it and pick it up and play it. But at the end of the day, what's this game like? Yeah, I paid only what $20, $30 for Tribes, and I've had some fun with it already. But I definitely haven't gotten the use of you guys had about it. But it's a game that I can go back and play as well too. Again, that's my concern. Like, what is Alien going to look like? They've got a roadmap, which is great, but is the longevity going to be there? Because what's been going on the last year, especially during pandemic, is a lot of us as a group, because we play a lot of games with everybody out there, everybody's like, check out this game, and it's just flash in the fire pan, and all of a sudden it's gone too. And that happens. I get that, but I'm getting to the point where like I'm trying to manage 12 games at once, and I'm like, and I'm still want to work on a backlist. So it's to the point where I do got to think about picking and choosing as well.
It's gonna be tough, and like El Blanco knows Origami 2. Origami 2 comes out in September. That's gonna have 3-player co-op. So I mean, there's another co-op game in them. It's going to be difficult to find one of these games and see which one is going to be the one you're going to stick with, because you only have a certain amount of days during the week where you can play video games.
Yeah, and I think too, like what's going to be unique about this fall, and I think partly due to COVID is also affected some of this, because a lot of big titles got pushed or whatever as well too. What's nice about it in some way though is that there's a lot of games that are coming. They're not massive titles. They're smaller titles and smaller studios, but there's like dozens of them, and that's kind of exciting, because there might be some games out there that you're all of a sudden going to find, be like, wow, this is not what I expected, this is a gem, or because they're cheaper games, you can play 2 instead of 1. So there is some value in that thought process, along with Game Pass again too, like having some variety with the games to play, and be able to check games and kind of throw that in there as well too. So
I see Blanco talking about Boyfriend Dungeon. Cuddles was talking
Cuddles
about that
says it's game of the year. He says game of the year.
A lot of people talking about that game, especially on social media. I see it popping up more and more. I have no idea what this thing's
on Steam.
I don't know anything about this game other than what little bit Cuddles told me last night. And it sounds pretty wild. Like, it sounds wild.
Yeah, I was watching him play. It was pretty fucking...
Oh, he was streaming it, and you caught his stream?
I think a week ago. I think he was streaming it.
Oh, it's on Game Pass. Oh, okay. Well, shit.
Oh, is it?
Might have to... Oh, yeah. Well, Blanco says it's nuts.
Have to download it.
And then the other game that I've been playing lately is Ghost of Tsushima. I've been trying to work on the Platinum Trophy. I am now down to 2 trophies left. I have to knock out, I think, 11 more just random side quests. I got all the main character quests. You got those 4... allied quests or whatever they are. I got all the mythic quests done. I'm just in the midst of working on, I think, like I said, 11 more regular quests. Then I got to go bow to like 10 ancient ruins or something.
That's something I definitely didn't do.
All I got to do are those 2 things, and I'll have the Platinum Trophy, which I am excited about, because tonight, Ghost of Tsushima, Iki Island, the expansion drops. We get that, and we get PS5 upgrades, haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, 4K image, 60 frames. I mean, it's already running at 60 frames via backwards compatibility. But, man, I am fucking hyped for that expansion to drop tonight.
Yeah, you wouldn't shut up about it all week. And now that we're close to it, I'm like, Well, I'll probably try to play that this weekend as well, too. I got a few things I want to tie up too long with that Marvels update that happened, too. Blanco, if you want to play Tenchu, buy a PlayStation 4 and pick up Ghost of Tsushima, because guess what?
Ghost of Tsushima is probably my favorite game from last gen. Like, look, I love The Last of Us 2. It's a great story. But in terms of, like, overall package, gameplay, presentation, story, multiplayer with the Legends mode, Ghost of Tsushima is probably my favorite game from last gen. It's probably my favorite game of 2020. It's fucking incredible. It's a great game to play. You never get bored with it. Mm-mm. You never. The world is so awesome to explore. The puzzles you have to solve through platforming are really, really good. There's so many mini games you can do. It is a fucking awesome ass game. Like it says, but does it have the old school grunts where when you kills people? Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Grunts? Like, I mean, I don't know what kind of old school grunts he's looking for, but yes, it's got everything, dude. There's a reason Sucker Punch, like 2 people from Sucker Punch were what were they called from Tsushima Island or wherever that's based on?
Oh, like they're ambassadors. They're ambassadors.
Yeah, like wherever that game is based on, like they are legitimately like impressed. Like you guys fucking did right by us with your presentation and everything. Like they fucking love what Sucker Punch did with this game. So I am hyped as fuck to download that tonight. I'm going to be jumping into that this weekend. Really excited for Ghost of Tsushima and the expansion. I'm all over it, dude. I'm all over it. And yeah, we'll be maybe next week, Tuesday night, maybe do some Alien stream. B&B Plays Aliens.
Yeah, I might be able to handle that. I might work a little bit later.
But I mean, we can start at 10 o'clock if you want to. Whatever. Yeah. I know you got to go to bed by 11, so we'll stream it for an hour and then talk about it on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think we should check that out.
Is that is that right? The 24th?
24th, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
let's talk about that.
6 days away. I think. Wait, what is it? The 19th. So 5
know.
days away. So yes,
I can't
24th
count.
is Tuesday. We will check that out Tuesday night. B&B Plays Aliens Fire Team. All right, Tone. Let's get to our first topic. We went on a lot there. There's a lot to talk about. We've been gone.
You had to be wrong about White Castle and Tony's for a little while. So.
All right, first topic.
Not me, man.
Let's talk about Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Suicide Squad came out.
We can talk about it.
When it dropped, world went crazy. Reviews were phenomenal. Sitting at a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is it now?
Everyone excited because this is the best DC movie in a long time, the best reviewed movie. Everyone was super fucking hyped for Suicide Squad, including myself, because we're fans of James Gunn. James Gunn is an awesome director.
He's a very good director.
He did awesome with Guardians of the Galaxy. This movie came out. We're like, dude, we got to see this. It looks great. The first trailer, we saw all the characters that were in this movie. We saw everybody that was going to be in Suicide Squad. And we were like, fuck, man. They got people from the original movie. They got some new people.
Yep.
Let's fucking go. This looks hype. Great casting. Idris Elba, Margot Robbie, John Cena, Nathan Fillion. We all love some Fillion, right?
Love some Fillion.
We love some Fillion. Tone?
Yeah.
We sat down, we watched Suicide Squad.
Sure did.
Your initial thoughts on Suicide Squad?
It was all right.
I concur.
Felt it was, if I gave it out of 5 beer mugs, B&B beer mugs, I gave it like a 2.5, 2.75. Mm-hmm. Maybe a 3. That's a stretch.
Maybe a 3.
I felt like clearly James Gunn being at the helm really helped it. I feel like the difference between like obscure DC characters and obscure Marvel characters, and I know I'm sorry, we do have to compare, just as the way it is.
You really have to.
You kind of have to. This time they were made a little bit more interesting. I'll say that, but I think we were hoodwinked a little bit on the casting and the characters. I'll say that as well.
And why is that, Tone?
Because a lot of the people that they casted and put forward prior to this one in some of the trailers were a lot of other names and characters, and those are the same ones that got pieced out at the beginning. Now, I get it.
I get the thought process behind it.
Suicide Squad, no one's safe, etc. However, did we really have to piece out all these other characters and not leave one of these, or a little bit longer? Did it have to be like so much right at the beginning? We couldn't really come up with a couple extra fucking coins in our pocket and say, hang around for another 10 minutes, please.
Right.
Nathan Fillion. Like, somebody.
Like I get Jai Courtney why Captain Boomerang had to go. I get that. That's fine. I mean, I know you didn't want to see him go, but I
get
mean,
it. But I
think that makes more sense than something like Nathan Fillion or who was the other kid that you like from SNL?
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson. They were not players in the first movie.
No.
Nathan Fillion, what was he? The detachable kid. He was not a big part. He wasn't even in the first movie. And so they bring in Nathan Fillion. I'm like, oh fuck, I love Nathan Fillion. Let's go. And he dies.
Yeah.
At the beginning, and you're like, really? And the worst part about it is Nathan Fillion is fucking hilarious. His character wasn't funny.
No, and
it wasn't funny.
What
they do his arms. Now I was like, okay, this is it. This is what you're gonna do. This is how you're utilizing Nathan Fillion.
Exactly.
And I was like, come on, man.
You know, and that's kind of like, I mean, I guess he's not as buff as John Cena, but I almost feel like that'd have been a better casting. Like, to be fair, John Cena was great in this. I think he was even at times a little bit boring, but you mean he had some great one-liners. He had some fun stuff going. He probably had some of the best one-liners. I definitely get that, but I just overall didn't feel like that the movie was super engaging and entertaining. When I find myself in a movie like this and I'm looking at my phone a couple times and having to tell myself audibly to put the phone down,
right?
There might be a problem. Now I'm on my phone often, so I get it, but like I remember like missing parts or minutes of the movie and being, oh shit, I should really be paying attention, right? That tells me that definitely it was I was taken out of the movie. Like some of the stuff after they get on the island, the dragging out, like it just wasn't as entertaining. And I honestly felt overall that Idris Elba was underutilized. Here's your main guy, it's Idris Elba, and like I know he's not going to be the jokey guy, but like I felt like somehow this guy was underutilized in this movie.
I didn't even expect him to be jokey. I just wanted to see. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, continue.
No, I'm just saying. Like I was reading what Tricky says. I'm gonna smack him.
He's not happy with you right now.
Idris Elba just wasn't that fantastic like I expected him to be. He just wasn't as commanding. Now he had some good scenes for sure, but like even the driver with the kid and everything. Well, that was what didn't they do that in the first movie or something similar? So big whoop. Like okay, that wasn't super original. Like okay. Right. So we're doing the same storyline more or less, just a different dude. I don't know. But yeah, John Cena had some great stuff. They had some good back and forth. Margot was also not in it as much, which was kind of weird. And I guess maybe some of the complaints from the first one was that it was a Will Smith and Margot Robbie show, which, I mean, if you're Will Smith, I get it. Like, I felt like Will Smith was a little bit more, I don't know if he was better necessarily than Idris Elba, but I felt like he was more active in the movie, whereas Idris was active in the movie. He just wasn't as fantastic or as engaging. Honestly, at the end of the day, the best part of the movie, even though, like I said, I felt the story was kind of the end of the movie was great, how it turned kind of almost kaiju-ish, but King Shark, Sylvester Stallone, doing the voice, by the way.
Doing very little, but he did perfect. I mean, that's basically just Sylvester Stallone being Sylvester Stallone.
Completely smashed it.
Yeah, he was great. Big fan of King Shark in this movie. I mean, he was great. But
yeah, it was hilarious.
The cast is really good. Like, the cast is really good, but they're not given anything like good material-wise, which is disappointing. I mean, you don't get any real good backstory from these characters. It's not. I don't think the movie was super funny. I expected this to be have some like really good funny moments. There wasn't any moments where I was laughing my ass off or was like, thought this is hilarious. I thought it was underwhelming in that regard. Obviously, the violence was played out in some dark, humorous ways, so I liked that. That part I really liked.
That was gory.
Yeah, It was gory as fuck, and the King Shark delivered in that regard. But yeah, I just felt like Idris Elba wasn't given much to work with. Margot Robbie wasn't given much to work with. John Cena probably got all the best lines.
He got a lot of the best one-liners,
yeah,
for sure.
and he did. But for me, like, I know you like John Cena's movie, and I like John Cena. I just felt like I knew how John Cena was going to play this out before I came in and saw this movie. It was just him playing this big lunkhead, and I was like, oh, I mean, okay, that's cool. And I'll watch his show. I mean, if they set him up for a show, we know he's gonna have a show. I will check that out. But I mean, he was given the best material. I just don't think his character was all that great. The things I did like about it, though, it's a beautifully shot movie. Like, there is some really spectacular cinematography in this movie.
The movie is gorgeous.
It's polished.
It's very, very polished.
I especially fucking love the Harley sequence where she's escaping. And she got all the flowers in there as blood. I was like, dude, that's fucking rad. Like, it's a stylish movie.
It was very much her perspective in that, which I liked a lot.
It's very stylish, and it has a great presentation in that regard. So I think they nailed that for sure. It's gory as fuck. Love that. But dude, yeah, overall, compared to the hype that kind of came out when the reviews dropped, I felt like this movie was a little underwhelming.
Yeah, it was very underwhelming.
And I think it's interesting because we talked about this before the show. When this dropped, Rotten Tomatoes was at like a 93%. People were like, holy fuck, this is the best reviewed DC movie in a long time. It's the best DC movie in forever. It might be the best DC movie. 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Everyone was like, holy fuck, this is really good. But man, I feel like this movie is a prime example of how deceiving Rotten Tomatoes can be at times. Because if you go to Metacritic, which is based more on the score, not so much, because on Rotten Tomatoes, if you get a 2.5 stars out of 4, that's certified fresh. Or not, it's considered fresh. It's not rotten. It's fresh. So when you go to Metacritic and you see their score is a 72, you're like, okay, that makes more sense. I can believe that. But when I see her 91%, but then I think to myself, well, shit, Wonder Woman, not 1984, because that one was trash. The first Wonder Woman is at 93%. Wonder Woman is infinitely better than this movie. Way better than this movie.
It's going to be controversial, by the way.
I don't give a fuck. It is a way better movie than Suicide Squad. And yes, this Suicide Squad is better than the other one, but that ain't saying much. Because the fucking first Suicide Squad movie sucked. That was trash. But this is not the best DC movie. This is not one of the best DC movies. This is a middle of the road. Better than most, better than some, but this does not hold a candle to fucking Wonder Woman. Hell no. Not even close. Sorry, Carlos, don't care. Not even close to Wonder Woman. I mean, that was like the goofiest thing. After I watched this movie, it was like 91%. No way. Then you go look at Metacritic. I believe it's 72. Barely hitting 70. Makes sense. But no, this is not the best DC movie. Wow, this is Bad Takes Podcast. No, man, this is just real talk. I'm not, and I think part of the problem is, and Tone and I talked about this as well. DC has had so many bad movies. I feel like anytime you release anything that's okay, everyone out there is going, holy fuck, that was amazing, because we haven't had shit to be excited about.
I think it's also, like we talked about as well, too, kind of goes with the last year of how everybody's intake their media. I think there's a fair perspective to say that people are really ready just to take in anything that they either don't have to pay a whole lot for. Like, if you went and saw this in the theater, like if I went and saw this in the theater and paid like, $11, $12 for my ticket, I might be a little bit more perturbed to a degree. And I'm not saying necessarily this movie, I'm just generalizing. Mm-hmm. But if you're paying already $15 for HBO and you're getting a free movie, you're already excited.
Right.
So I think there's a skewed in there as well too. It's like how I felt with King Kong versus Godzilla, and I said this as well too. Is that for a fan of the franchise for so long, without any gatekeeping, a lot of people really enjoyed that movie more than I did, and I was like, it was good and enjoyable, but there was some things that were just kind of like,
it's not a movie I'm going to buy.
Too liberty. This movie, I wouldn't buy this movie.
And I'll answer Crash. Yes, I think Shazam was better than this.
I actually definitely think though. I thought Shazam was awesome.
I think Shazam's way better than this.
I think Shazam
absolutely.
That doesn't get rotated enough in the conversation with the DC movies.
Absolutely not.
That's definitely one of the better ones as well too. I thought Shazam was enjoyable.
Shazam was way better than this movie.
And it was funnier.
It was funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Like there was some like belly laughs, like a lot of belly laughs in Shazam. There was very little of that in this movie, in which I expect more from James Gunn and with the cast.
Yeah.
With the cast involved and the premise, this is an absurd movie. It's a bunch of bad guys acting as heroes. There's that dude. If you can't make that shit hilarious, something's wrong.
And like Crohn's, that's okay to enjoy this movie. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy this movie. I'm just saying that like I did. I found some enjoyment in it. I've watched movies and we talk about.
It's not a disaster. It's
no,
not
there's
bad,
been things.
Horrible.
Like I said, I would watch this again if I had to, or if I just whatever it's on TV. Like there are movies I've seen that I'm just like, I did not enjoy this. I would not watch this ever again. This is not that movie. I'm just saying, like, it's an all right movie. It's definitely way overhyped. It's not as great as everybody thinks it is. I think it's because the bar has been set low so far. Mm-hmm. It's like being the tallest person in a room full of short people. Big fucking whoop. You're the tallest short person. Sweet.
Yeah, I don't think it's like one of the worst DC movies. Not by far.
That's fair as well, too, Trick, that it didn't have the overtop of the comedy. But we expected it. It was kind of sold on it because it is James Gunn and Guardians. Guardians has a lot of great comedy as well too.
This was being sold as a funny violent movie.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
When you have a shark ripping somebody in half, I'm looking more for comedy than serious.
Right.
If I have King Shark walking around ripping a dude in half, eating people's heads, I'm looking for more funny than serious.
At the end of the day, for me, the best takeaway I can take from this movie that I find the best enjoyment, the most enjoyment, what do you want to say, is the King Shark memes that have been coming out.
yeah.
Because those are funnier than the movie.
Yeah, the King Shark memes
the King Shark and Jaws crossover is fucking
crashes.
kiss.
I think the Suicide Squad is the perfect. It's on TV and I can't find the remote. I'm fine with watching it. Dude, it really is. I mean, this is a movie. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying this movie. I won't add it to my collection. But if it's on TV and there's nothing else on, I would probably be like, oh, I remember this. Yeah, there were some decent scenes in this.
Stay tuned, King Cuddles.
I bet we'll have this all new Nick Cage movie. Is amazing tonight, though. Well, yeah, just to piss you off, Cuddles. We are going to be talking about some Nick Cage. In fact, that's our next topic. Just for you. It really is.
Well, there you go,
really
Cuddles.
Is.
Perfect timing.
Let's move on to our next topic, which is our next review, Pig. Now, when we first saw this trailer, we were like, whoa, this looks kind of goofy. I'm not sure how they're going to play this out.
We had some speculation.
There was some speculation, but we were just like, man, this looks like this is going to be kind of like a John Wick, over-the-top, goofy-ass movie where he wants his truffle pig back. And, honestly, and that's kind of what you would expect. I mean, yes, the trailer itself, now that I've seen the movie, I think the trailer does a good job selling what the movie is, but we couldn't get it out of our minds because we had just seen Willy's Wonderland, we've seen Mom and Dad, we've seen Colorado Space, we've seen all these wild Nick Cage movies. So we're thinking, okay, here we go. We're going into this movie. He's going to be looking for his truffle pig. He's going to go John Wick, and this is going to be another Gonzo Cage movie.
John
Wickles Cage. And so we were like, okay, cool, man. And then I noticed when the reviews started coming out, and it was scoring incredibly well, and like really well.
Well, hold back. Prior to the reviews, weren't so like the Sundance or like some film festivals or something were going, whoa.
Well, no, that was Ghost of. That's what we're going to talk about.
Never mind.
Yeah, but so just shut up. You ruined it. I was hyping this up for Cuddles. Anyways, so the reviews come out, and everyone's like, oh, this is like one of his best performances, and we're just like, what?
Yeah, what?
What? No. This is going to be Gonzo Cage. I don't believe any of that shit. So I don't care about the reviews. Watch the movie. It comes out. So we rent the movie, and we watch it. I bought the movie afterwards. I was like, I'm going to buy this. This movie is not what you think it's going to be. It is not a Gonzo Nick Cage movie. It is not an over-the-top John Wick clone. This is a brilliant character study. There is no absurd moments. This is seriously one of his best performances I've seen in a long time. This movie is it focuses on dealing with loss, and it ended up being more emotionally impactful than I could have ever expected. This could have easily gave way to an over-the-top action movie that would have been inadvertently funny the entire time through. This is an emotionally charged movie that is just an incredible,
character piece, social piece.
Yeah, it's a character study, and it is a perfect platform for Nick Cage to show that when he's not doing the Gonzo stuff, this motherfucker can still act. He can command the screen, make you feel like real feelings, and just have you glued to the performance. We talked about the movies we've seen over the last couple years. Willy's Wonderland, Mom and Dad, Mandy, Joe, all these movies. And then you add this in here, this guy might have more range than any actor in Hollywood. And I'm not joking. Like, I understand we joke a lot about Nick Cage movies, and there's a lot of movies on his resume that are that warrant that.
Very questionable.
Very questionable movies. This is one of his best, most restrained performances ever. He is incredible in this movie. He absolutely owns the screen the entire time he's on it. There's multiple scenes, but one in general. Basically what he is first of all, he is this he used to be like this renowned chef in Portland. A very popular chef, made the best meals, worked at one of the best restaurants. Like, he was renowned.
Mm-hmm.
And something happens with his wife, and he just kind of turns into a hermit and moves into the wilderness, like in Portland or Oregon. Like, he's in the Oregonian wilderness. And he lives in a shack with no cell phone, and he lives with his truffle pig. And all he does to make money is he finds truffles and sells them to Amir, played by Alex Wolff, who was also a phenomenal actor. Alex Wolff is really good in this movie as well. And all he does is sell him truffles, and that's how he makes his money. He's completely out of the game. He's no longer a chef. He's basically like this mythic creature that just disappeared from the scene, and he's gone. And one night, he's sitting around, and he hears some noise. He gets up, and he gets knocked. Like, people bust in, they knock him out, and they take his pig. And you're just like, oh, man, that was heavy. Like, damn, dude. Because you realize how dependent he is on this pig. Like, this is, like, his only thing that, like, means anything to him anymore. Kind of like John Wick's dog. So I can understand, like, why everyone was thinking, oh, this is going to be like John Wick. But, dude, when he goes to try to find his pig, and you realize what the focus is, and how they're focusing on how people deal with loss, and how they use, like, culinary and cooking and all this stuff as a form of, like, connecting with people. It is fucking incredible that this movie works. And like I said, when the man is on screen acting, it is phenomenal. And there's a scene in particular, the first restaurant he goes to when he's in Portland, he's trying to find his pig. There's somebody that runs this. There's the main chef of this restaurant, and he wants to talk to him because he knows there's like this seedy underbelly of Portland with all the chefs, the cooking chefs, and like there's this huge thing for like truffles, and people are trying to find the advantage of who can find, like, people are trying to find truffles. So they grab this pig because they think the pig can find the truffles. And like there's this seedy underbelly, and it reminded me of John Wick with the Continental, like the hotel. Like there's like this hitman hotel with all these rules. I mean, it was kind of this crazy take, but this is for chefs. And so he goes to this restaurant, and the scene he has with this chef is fucking fantastic. It's the first thing you brought up when we were talking about this. It is fucking fantastic. He sits down with this chef, and he starts asking him questions. The chef knows who he is. Everyone knows who this guy is. Once they realize who he is, they know who he is, and they have like the utmost respect for him. And he's talking. He's like, "Hey, man, I'm just trying to find my pig." And the guy starts giving him some bullshit, not giving him straight answers. And that's the first time in the movie you were like, oh, okay. They show Nicolas Cage, and you see the rage building. And that's the first time you're like, okay, here we go. We're going to go Gonzo Kid.
Go
this is where he's going to go fucking Nick Cage. You see it in his eyes. The tension. He is like borderline shaking a little bit. You see the rage building. But right before you think it's about to blow, he slowly diffuses, and he starts talking and getting through to the guy using just this dialogue that is incredible. The interaction with this other cook, the way he gets through to him, the way he connects to him to get him to help in some way, it is a magnificent scene. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, would you agree? I mean, the performance is back and forth with the other guy. I don't even know who the other guy is. He's really good. But Nick Cage, the way they utilize him here is phenomenal.
That scene, and when we start talking about it like we typically do before we go live, just to kind of like align a little bit of our thoughts, things like that, you know, that was the thing I said. And at the same time, we kind of like clued in that we were about to talk about the same scene. It was really, really like surreal to watch it play out when you watch it. And because it, like you say, you're expecting this, what you expect from Cage, which is like this overly emotional, ragey, make faces, do crazy shit. That's the fun Nick Cage that we usually enjoy, right?
Which we're going to talk about in a moment.
Right. However, this conversation that happens, you start listening to what you see, like you said, he's about. I told him, I said it's basically like if you've been edging for 2 hours and then just got up and walked away, kind of thing. That's the look on his face.
Yeah.
You see that, and you see like behind his eyes, he's got this like dark, like almost expressionless look in his eyes, like this, like he's about to flip, but then all of a sudden, like but you can tell he's restraining back, and as he's talking to the chef and he's digging into
the tension is palpable.
Yeah, it's unreal.
Very palpable. It's amazing.
Yep. You watch this the guy he's talking to by fate, and kudos to that actor as well.
He's really
too,
good, yeah.
Of how he goes from like super bubbly and this, that, and the other, and like you just it's like a water leaking of like a water balloon. You just see this deflation happen, and his demeanor even to subtle things. If you watch like how his body movement changes and how he starts to slowly kind of hunch over. Yeah, it's really interesting to watch that scene play out, because I was watching that and I'm like, this is unreal. Like this acting, like everything that's going on here is unreal. Like it's written incredibly well, but kudos to the actors, including clearly Cage, to be able to be in this and do that way. Now, again, I didn't expect any of this in the movie, and there's some things at the end when you talked about the food and
with Adam Arkin, with the scene when you realize the meal he makes, like, dude,
and drinking the wine and everything, and like, because even the wife was like, I don't understand that. I'm like, because food is like,
well, there's a part in the movie where Nick Cage is like, I remember every meal I made for every person, and then he remembers what Alex or Amir, which Alex is Wolf's character, says
his parents were happy.
This is the happiest they've ever been, and Nicolas Cage, dude, it's a fucking incredibly powerful movie,
right? And well, she said she was confused by that, and I said it's because food is like an emotional trigger sometimes.
It really is.
It becomes a recollection.
You remember food. You remember that
right,
shit.
Because I know, like, think about times when you've had food that you haven't had in years, and you take a bite of it, and you close your eyes, and you think, and you're like, man, the last time I had this, I was here doing this, and these friends were involved. Man, I should talk to that friend. I haven't talked to that friend in a while. So it's an interesting way how that plays out and plays in later into that movie as well, too. But that's exactly the entire time with this movie. This movie continues to drive these really weird, like you said, these seedy undergrounds. Like there's this underground thing going on with being a chef, and it's just it's almost like it's Breaking Bad, like meth selling, like this drug like cartel of truffles, because these chefs want this notoriety. They want the richest people to come eat their food. It's a competition as well too. It leads back again to the beginning where people want these truffles because it's the hot item right now that everybody's want.
No, you're right.
Want this pig, and they take his fucking pig, and then they took it from Robin Feld, which was not a great idea, who used to be this renowned chef that left, and now he's back in town. And
it's like I understand you guys are joking in the chat, but like, honestly, God, this is one of the best movies I've seen from Nicolas Cage probably ever. In terms of its performance, I mean, I love Gonzo Nick Cage. I love his over the top shit. But all jokes aside, this is one of his best performances I've seen in 20 years.
Judas this year was one of the best movies that's come out this year. This is one of the next.
It's a great movie.
This is a movie that's going to contend for like movie of the year shit. Like hands down, it's one of the best movies I've seen this year.
It's a character study. It's a showpiece for Nick Cage. I mean, honestly, there's three big actors in this movie. It's Alex Wolff, there's Adam Arkin, and there's Nicolas Cage, and he he owns this entire movie. He owns it. He commands the screen, and like, I'll sit there and watch this movie, and it's just, you're locked in. You're locked in on his performance because it's just so good. So, huge recommendation from this movie. It is great. It is a great performance, and I'm really, really happy that it didn't turn out to be the goofy-ass John Wick movie that we thought the trailer was alluding to. Right. This is something much more special and much more of a showcase of just how fucking talented this guy really is.
It's a character piece. It's definitely a little bit of a thinker, and at the end of the day, once again, the master of the cinema. God, I'm not gonna fuck it up.
Paradigm.
Thank you.
Cinema paradigm.
Cinematic paradigm. There, I spit it out. Yeah, there we go.
All right. So now we're gonna go to our next topic, which is trailers. I think it's award worthy. I definitely think he'll be a part of the discussion, Tricky. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind he'll be a part of the discussion. Already. He'll be a part of the discussion. It's a phenomenal performance. He's really good. So now we've gone from great performance Nick Cage, like very restrained performance Nick Cage. Now we got a trailer we want to take a look at, and this dropped, I think it was last week. I've been waiting for this trailer to drop. This movie generated a lot of buzz at Sundance.
This is the one I was talking about.
This is the one that generated a lot of buzz at Sundance. There was a lot of hype behind it. People were like, holy shit, this is crazy, because it basically takes Nick Cage and pairs him with, I believe it's Sion Sono, who is basically like the Suda 51 of like directors over in the East.
Which is exciting to hear.
Which is very exciting. This guy, some of his movies, if you want to see some wild shit, check out like a clip from Suicide Club. That's one of his movies. He's got 2 movies, Suicide Club and Why Don't You Play in Hell, are some of his more renowned movies. Suicide Club, the opening of it is absolutely fucking bonkers. Like, when you watch the opening, it's fucking bonkers. So you have this director who has quite a visionary style. He's got a very unique style movie. And then you pair him with the master of the cinema paradigm, and you basically say, okay, look, dude, I'm glad you showed some restraint in Pig. Now I need you to go to an 11. Mm-hmm. Let's check out the trailer for Prisoners of the Ghostland.
My granddaughter has been lost to us. I would have her return to me post-haste. And you, sir, I am told, are the man to do the job. Each arm is equipped with an explosive device. Your trousers are also equipped with explosives.
Really?
Just beyond the point where we now stand lies a highway where evil reigns.
What is this?
At the end of 5 days, if you have not returned with Bernice, well, I think you get the idea, son. Godspeed.
Godspeed.
This is the Ghostland, a land of no escape. We are not the ones who hold her captive. It's been 2 days, and still she is missing.
How do I get out of here?
You must surrender to fate.
Cue the synth.
I am radioactive.
No one escapes the Ghostland. No one!
I'm not a prisoner!
Wow. Woo! All right. First of all, wow. When I saw this trailer, the opening, they're basically like, look, man, you got to go in and get this prisoner or you're going to get blown to pieces. Shades of Escape from New York. Snake Plissken, we need you to go in, bring out the president, or you're going to blow up. So you got Escape from New York, basically in this apocalyptic world, so Escape from New York meets Mad Max. And you know what? I'm there for that.
Mm-hmm.
Automatic 10 due to the cage factor. That trailer now, I know what to expect.
Right.
I know this is not going to be a character piece.
Right.
This is going to be a gonzo, balls to the wall.
And they said that.
They said gonzo. This, again, will show you the type of range this guy has. He goes from Pig, which will probably be some award nominations, to Prisoners of the fucking Ghostland, paired with one of the most warped-minded directors from the East. This shit looked fucking hype, dude.
It looks literally like an Eastern anime or of some sort, like in a movie form.
Yes.
Sign me up.
Nick Cage, Sofia Boutella, and Nick Cassavetes. By the way, Nick Cassavetes is in Face Off. He's the guy that says, you want me to take his face?
Oh, the bald guy sitting there. Yeah,
Nick Cassavetes. He's in
that's
this.
Funny.
But yeah, dude, Nick Cage has said, this is the wildest movie I've ever made. And you can see it in the trailer. This shit looks fucking... Dude, I'm going to buy this. You're going to come over. We're going to pop some Eddies. And we're going to sit down and we're going to watch this shit. That's how I'm spending Saturday night. September 9th or September 18th. Tone's coming over. We're popping some Eddies. We're going to sit on the couch and watch this. I'm hyped for this. I get it. I get it, Cuddles. I know you don't like Nick Cage, and that's fine. That's cool. I'm hyped for this movie. I love movies like this that are just crazy premises that lets Nick Cage do his thing. I'm hyped for it, dude. I'm hyped for it. Can we say Eddie's? Or is that a TOS?
Not in the state. No,
Oh, okay,
you're
cool.
fine. You're fine.
Sweet. I thought maybe, but I mean, you're here day one or what?
Yeah,
Absolutely,
dude. I'm way beyond excited for this shit.
Yeah, this looks crazy.
This looks the way I want it to be.
That's how I want to see Nick Cage. I am. Oh, you can smoke on stream. Oh shit! So we can talk about doing Eddie's. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. So yeah, hype. September 17th. It'll be available on digital. I think it's gonna be in select theaters. September 19th, 17th. This is what we're watching. I'm excited for it. All right. The next trailer, something I know you're excited about. I'm excited about. We finally got a full-on trailer. Cannot wait to see this. Let's check out Star Wars Visions.
Long ago, a great warrior came to this village and entrusted our ancestors with this. Its power and responsibility now lie with you.
You've been guided by the Force since you were born.
At last, the moment arrives.
It's the first time I've confronted such darkness. Something ancient and sinister.
We're going to be a proper family.
Let's make this our best show ever!
フォースと共にあらんこと。
I accept this responsibility.
Wild.
Wow.
Eastern take on Star Wars. I am definitely there for that. And you know what's nice about it is with the sci-fi element that's already fantasy, right? Like leaning a little extra into that fantasy from like another style of storytelling. Sign me up.
That shit looked really good. The art style looked fantastic, and obviously it's more Star Wars, but we're gonna kind of get that Eastern flavor added to it. Oh man, that looked fucking great.
That's a great question, Captain, but I'm gonna guess not.
What Captain say?
Will it be canon? Because so far, for the most part, it seems like everything under Disney has been canon, but I'm gonna guess it's probably not canon. Until we see it, I guess who knows how crazy it's gonna be, but I'm gonna guess it's not canon.
Man, I mean, it looked good as hell, though. I mean, honestly, I'm really excited to see this. You know, a lot of the animation that we've seen so far through Disney Plus with their shows, obviously with Star Wars Bad Batch and all this. I mean, this stuff looks, and even What If? I mean, we're starting to see like some really good talent with in terms of like animation, and this looks exceptional. Like, it looks really good.
That's a really good point to bring up, and I'm going to kind of spin just real briefly on that for a moment, if I may. But, you know, even as early as the early 2000s, you know, when I really kind of hit the gas watching anime, people, you know, friends my age and things like that were like, what the fuck? You're like watching cartoons, you're watching anime. But, you know, I would have to explain to them, you realize the culture across the big pond that way, they watch anime is their TV. That's what they like. Anime is what folk over there watch. That's their thing. Like we watch over here, you know, fucking Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Over in Japan, everybody watches anime. It's all part of that culture, you know. And that's the kind of shit that I also enjoy. I love that culture. I love anime because of the storytelling. It's a little bit weird, and sometimes the emotional tie and the humor and everything as well too. So like now we're getting to the point where people like myself, who are clearly older than some of the ones, but like my kid and shit like that, and people just a little bit older than her, since the early 2000s when things got big on Toonami and Cartoon Network. Well, I think that is Cartoon Network or whatever. You know, a lot of this stuff came over here. A lot of those kids have grown up with that. So now as they're getting to be more older adults,
Right.
this is also the kind of media they want to intake. And this shit's popular. Anime's only gotten, as somebody who sold that shit for the last few years in like a GameStop, anime's popular, and it doesn't matter how old you are at all. You know, I still watch just regular cartoons, but like, you know, it's just when you say that, it's when you stop and think about that, like you didn't see that like 15, 20 years ago even yet. And now because that's getting to be part of the culture and still once again kind of adopting some of that, you know, that the Eastern style of media, which is, you know, we're getting cartoons or like main shows for everybody to watch. It's just kind of crazy to see how that's evolved like that.
Yeah, I've been really curious to see what kind of spins they can take and what kind of liberties they take with the Star Wars IP, especially if it's not canon. I think that gives them a little bit more freedom to kind of like, you know, branch out a little bit, try some different stuff, because you're basically just saying, hey, look, you know what Star Wars is, you know the IP, but, you know, put your own spin on it. Take your culture and put your own spin, and not restraining them to canon, like, hey, you gotta stick to this, you gotta stick to this. I feel like maybe you're not allowing them to kind of like add their cultural influence to it. Now, this way you can just be like, look, you know the basics. Here's this, Jedi, Empire, this is your stuff. But do what the fuck you want to do. Do what you do best. Put your spin on it. I think that looks fucking dope, man. This looks really, really good.
Really excited.
Tone got the power of Cage and anime on his side.
That's all I need.
Yeah. We watched Cowboy Bebop back in the day, late night on Cartoon Network. Cowboy Bebop, remember that? I'm iffy on the movie. Full Metal Alchemist. Oh, hey, what's up, Dungeons?
Yes.
There's 7 Dungeons. What's going on, my dude?
Everybody, there's usually people, even if you didn't realize you were watching anime as a kid, Robotech, Voltron, Ronin Warriors, you know, that stuff was all, you know, came Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, you know, or aka Super Sentai, you know. So we've always been influenced by that sort of media, and it's just back then it was a little bit different because it was, you know, you watched a lot of times like dubbed or whatever it was, so you didn't realize necessarily that you were intaking something that was actually being sent across. So it's exciting now to you know, continue to see this be more popular and grow.
Yeah, this will be dropping on September 22nd. I'm assuming they'll do a weekly like they've done with everything else. Yeah, this was a great show. Like, this looks really, really, really good. So September's starting to shape up really nicely in terms of like, especially Disney stuff. I mean, you got Shang-Chi on September 3rd. You've got this on September 22nd. I mean, they're really starting to fill out their fall season of shows. So I'm excited for this, to check this out for sure. It looks really, really good. All right, so we're going to stick with Star Wars. And Tone, we finally reached the finish line for Star Wars Bad Batch. 16 episodes. We had to go 16 weeks to see where they were going with this. And, you know, my thoughts on it are this, is that I don't know if they needed 16 episodes to get to this. I felt like some of the episodes were filler and almost maybe not necessary. But there were enough things in those episodes where you're like, well, I mean, this was cool stuff that I might have missed, that you were like, okay, you know, that was that even some of you were like, it was okay, like it was cool to see it, but you weren't even sure if we needed certain episodes.
Sure.
16 episodes is a lot, and it was. I do agree, Dungeons. It was a bit slow, but thankfully, the final episode, it stuck the landing. We got to see a lot of arcs come around. We got some closure on some certain storylines, but there were some other bigger emotional things that affected you, especially that kind of hit you. And I want to talk about that, man. I mean, obviously, my thing I was looking forward to the most was the Crosshair and the rest of the group coming together and seeing how that would be resolved.
Right.
And I like the way it ended. I mean, it still leaves it open. I mean, obviously, Crosshair is going to be an integral part of the feud between him and the rest of the crew. But I really, really like the way that they brought them all together, and they kind of had to like work together despite their differences. I thought there were a lot of good scenes with Hunter and Crosshair, and especially some scenes with some of the like with Wrecker, and I can't remember the gentleman's name with the goggles. Tech. There was a couple of interactions between Tech and Crosshair I thought was really, really good. So I mean, it was a strong ending in terms of like the arcs that I was looking to see get tied up or at least resolve a little bit. But there was some other stuff that you really liked, especially with where they were located in this final episode.
Yeah. Overall, I really enjoyed the series. I think I'm different than a lot of people when it comes to slow burns, so I do understand that it was slow. I didn't really get that consistently. There were a couple episodes that I was just like, man, I could have done without, maybe that was about it, but I didn't, like, the slow burn of it didn't bother me at all. I just felt like for me, I'm just going to want more, and that's just kind of how I look at it, so I don't really ever, sometimes when it comes to Star Wars, get that. Too often, I should say, not all the time. But with this, I really, really got hooked into the characters. I didn't know at first how this was going to go, but I'll tell you, like, as it continued to move, whether slow or not, it really, really, really grew on me a lot. We were all concerned, especially some of the Star Wars guys out here, 7D being like one of the big ones too. We talked about it right at the get. Like, all right, what's going on here with Omega? Like, what the fuck, really?
Right.
Like, we're wedging in another, like, all of a sudden new character, this young kid character that I'm supposed to care about. Well, guess what? It didn't take, by the time probably third way through it or halfway through, you started to see what they were doing and you got attached to the character. So there it is. They did a great job with it once again, and we still have to remember too that they know they know who they're playing the cards to, but it is still built for children as well too. So
right.
You gotta understand
it's
that
give
as
and
well.
take.
It can be a give and take.
Blessing and a curse.
Right. And with what Filoni's done with these cartoons, is he's made a cartoon that literally everybody can enjoy, because even though they'll have their fun moments or their little quips or whatever, it is really good storytelling that an adult can intake and really take something from as well too. So again, kudos to that. As the show did continue, I was excited for the Bad Batch just because I liked the archetypes of them.
Right, exactly.
You actually almost, at some point, they play into those, but you forget about that later on because of the story that's going on. We've talked about it before. Listen, I'm not going to iterate a lot of that stuff, the backdrop of the Empire, growing in from the Republic, and you get to see that, which was a really good progression. They used that as a showpiece for that, and I think that was a good way to bridge that gap, because we've never seen that. We've just saw Republic, and then all of a sudden, here it is. We are, we're in the Empire era or whatever that might be. With this, we got to see that kind of grow into that. But as somebody who's not or wasn't originally a huge fan of the prequels, the Clone Wars helped me. We talked about that before as well too. Enjoyed them more because it gave identity to the clones. Keeping that in mind, this episode came full circle, like you had said. There was a lot going on. We discovered a lot of things about Omega and characters in general, the tug and pull between Crosshair. We learned a lot about Crosshair just generally, and it continued to separate, especially this crew from being just the clones. And if you pay attention to some of the other clones in this series, there's a few other that start breaking rank that just don't end up being good soldiers. Yep. So
who was it, Captain?
I can't remember.
Not Mauser. Yeah. Captain Mauser's from Police Academy.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, Captain Mauser.
Not Mauser.
Hightower. No, but you start seeing that kind of dissension or whatever. But this episode was very, very like somber. Like it was like a whole mix of emotions. There was a lot going on, and listen, I know it's a cartoon, and I know I get like overly emotional because of Star Wars things, and it's weird to even consider that because it is a cartoon. But when you get to Kamino and the Empire starts bombarding the shit out of it, and I just remember just watching this last week and sitting there and going like, had a hand over my mouth going, oh my God, we're literally watching them right now destroy a canonized planet that became canonized due to the prequels, and completely, we are watching this right now in this show, completely wiping it off the radar of storytelling. It's gone. It's done.
It's completely.
That's fucking wild.
They didn't miss.
And why it's such important is because this was a central piece to clearly the characters, because they are clones of some form, but it was a big piece of 2 decades ago. Go back 40 years to when Luke said, "You were with my father in the Clone Wars." This was the place where that was canonized, that all started.
Yep.
And they literally, as we're watching this episode, are wiping it out from Star Wars.
He just said he was like fire when ready. I was just like,
and just completely, which was a nice little nod, by the way, for him doing that. And when they're walking inside Kamino, and you get like this revisited scene we've seen before too, but I just remember Attack of the Clones, Kenobi walking with Lama Su and these characters, and showing the tanks of these growing babies like it's the Matrix fields and shit, and you're watching the water submerge them as this thing's tilting and destroying.
Gone.
And I was like, holy fuck, like, this is not a place you can no longer visit in the Star Wars universe. If this was a video game, you wouldn't be able to go back to this planet.
Right, it's gone.
That's fucking wild. And it was really, they killed. There was some really crazy deaths in this series as well too. So I was watching that and I'm like, this is mind blowing to see, because we've seen Alderaan got pieced out, but when that was just a random planet you didn't know nothing about. This was
Alderaan wasn't a part of like the entire.
Right, this is a planet that Captain. That's the best way to look at it. Like, and this is coming from somebody who originally wasn't a huge fan of the prequels, but became more attuned to them because of these series. And you're watching this and just what Attack of the Clones came out, 2002 maybe, I think it was. I want to say 2002. Almost 20 years later, and they're just destroying this fucking planet.
Because wasn't Camino, that was in one of the Battlefield games, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Camino, like in 2005 Battlefront 2, which was really interesting, which is not canonized clearly, because that story tells a different one, which is that when the Empire started taking back up, I want to say the Kaminoans, or I think along with the clones, like tried to fight the Empire. That clearly is not part of that story. This is just basically the Empire phasing out the clones slowly, which we knew was coming. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I ever necessarily saw them just destroying Camino like this. So, anyways, from that I digress. It was very hard to watch. Yeah, see, Jedha wouldn't hit you as hard in Rogue One. It hit me hard because that was see Jedha didn't hit me as hard because that hadn't been around as long. This had been. I mean, I get the history, but this Camino had been around. We'd seen it in so many different media.
Right.
Often. Many times. Video games, movies, cartoons for 20 fucking years. And they just said,
peace out.
Peace out. We'll never see that again. So that was pretty fucking surreal to kind of have play out like that. And the music and the somberness of it and everything that was going on in the episode.
The music was really good.
It was written really, really good, of course. The dialogue was good.
Omega's walking. And the way she's looking at it, the music, everything just hit at the right time. Do you love that shirt, by the way, and hope all is well. Yo. What's up, Mystic Mike? Thank you so much for stopping by, man. How's your night going, dude? Mystic Mike. Man, the myth, the legend.
Man, the myth, the legend. At the end of the day, I'm really excited because it did get renewed for season 2.
Excellent.
So that's really exciting as well, too. But, it was a fantastic episode. It was a really somber way to move away from the series and its finale. It was done really well, and we definitely appreciate that. Somebody who just gifted.
Mike.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. It shows it on there now.
Oh,
Mike. Thank you,
shit,
Mr.
bro.
Mike. Appreciate that, dude. Just laying with the baby while the wife puts the towel down for the night. Oh yeah, the joys of parenthood. Always the best.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
But thank you so much, Mike. We appreciate that, man.
You're the man. If you get a chance, check out some of Mystic Mike's content. Facebook, YouTube, Tri-North Studios as well, too. They're doing a lot of things and really starting to come up right now and put their work together. So great content, good stuff coming. We're really excited to see that grow. And hopefully, maybe someday we get to, maybe do something with you, maybe work with you or something, Mystic Mike.
I'd have a lot of fun working with Mike. I think that'd be a good time.
I'd love
Mike,
to.
thank you so much, man. We
appreciate you,
brother.
man.
Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
But, overall, you were really happy with the way this panned out. Like I said, how long it took to get there is you can debate that all back and forth. But when you hit the final, when you hit the finale, it's got to stick the landing. And I feel like this, again, it hit you in a very emotional way. Mm-hmm. I love the story arc and the way that we got Crosshair to meet up. We got some really good interactions with him and the rest of the crew. We know he's so conflicted. He's so conflicted with what he believes and what they're trying to convince him to believe. And I really think that's going to be a great way to keep, make that one of the main story arcs between him and the Batch going forward. But I just thought it was so well done. Like, it was really cool when they all got together.
And they did what they wanted to do, and they found a way to tie it into Mandalorian as well, too, again.
Yes, explain that.
So at the end, when I can't remember the character's name because I can't ever keep the Kaminoans straight. They take the last one they take with them, and one of the scientists walk up and basically say, "Oh, well, you're gonna help us," or whatever it is, and wearing the same the Camino like band or whatever it is, that symbol. just like the doctor in Mandalorian that was taking Grogu's blood.
Yep.
That means this is the real, true groundwork, and I still think Omega does play a part in that, of being able to work with cloning, the Emperor. Trying to like clone Jedi or like midichlorian blood, things like that. So it wasn't Tanwi. I think Tanwi got pieced out. And I don't know, maybe was it Lamasu? Who was it? 70? Do you remember?
It was the same base they went to. They had clones in the tubes. The Bill Burr episode. Oh,
was it?
Really?
I thought it was on a. Are you sure about that?
Oh, he's pretty confident.
Clones in the tube. The Bill Burr. I thought that episode, that base that they went to, was just like a refinery or like a fuel base.
He was in 2 episodes though.
Well, he was in the one where they were trying to break those guys out in the prison the first season, and the second season they went to they took that long drive and he had that fight up on top of it. Is it really the same fucking base? I didn't know that. That's fucking gnarly.
The clones in the tubes were on Navarro for Crones.
No, I'm really.
Oh man, they're coming in with.
Yeah, they're dropping a little bit of that hot knowledge. I don't know. I mean, Google it, motherfuckers. That's what I'm saying.
And that's why I love having guys like Dungeons Crash, Crones. I mean, they come in there with that,
Blanco,
those corrections, and Blanco knows the shit. He knows what's going on, and that's why I love doing these segments. I like talking about these topics because you get these guys in here who know what the fuck they're talking about, and they drop that hot knowledge on you. But no, I just thought it was a great episode. It was a great way to end the season.
Yeah.
I do hope they kind of reel it in a little bit next season. I do hope it's not 16 episodes. The Bill Burr episode was a facility that was making explosives. I'm ready for George Roth. I'm hoping he's coming, and we need to bring Heir to the Empire back into canon. Man, a lot of hot thoughts, a lot of hot takes.
Yeah, and that we could do that.
You look like your system overload right now.
Yeah, because they're still trying to figure it out right now. So, but the good news is, Bad Batch might be done right now. We got Visions coming up. We've got Book of Boba coming this winter.
Man, how
and
hyped
then
are you
next,
for Book of Boba?
I'm very fucking hype. If anybody saw, I did finally get my Mandalorian Black Series helmet finally. So
I knew as soon as somebody mentioned Thrawn, Turkey was gonna perk up.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, look at that.
There
look
it
at
is.
that. Look
Just,
at that.
yeah.
He's got a blue boner right now.
Somebody mentions Thrawn, and Tricky's like, "Fuck yeah, let's go, dude."
Yep. And then in the springtime, I believe, is when we're supposed to get season 3 of Mando. So,
man, no short
on the horizon.
I'm not canceling my Disney Plus ever.
They're continuing to grow, and eventually they're going to want like $15 out of you probably. But for the $7-8 you pay right now, it's a very great value. And
dude, if they came at me right now and said $15, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, whatever.
That's fine. I'll forget all about that. That's fine.
Yep.
No problem.
Yep.
All right, next topic. We're gonna stick with Disney Plus. I'm gonna go over to Marvel though. How you holding up? You doing okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm proud of you, buddy. Let's talk about what if?
Question mark.
What if? So we didn't do a show last week. We weren't able to talk about episode 1. We did a show this week, and we got to see episode 2 before we did the show.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the next big Marvel show on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
It's an animated show, and What If explores what if what we thought happened didn't happen and something else happened. Tone, I'm going to lean into you again here, man. I want to get your initial thoughts on what they're doing with What If and the initial thoughts on the results of the first 2 episodes.
I will say I initially, pre-seeing this, just thought they were going to be like episodic one-shots, one and done.
Right.
I actually don't believe it's that anymore. Now, I'm not saying that these characters are going to be in the MCU or anything like that. However, I think there might be a couple, potentially. These are actually tied into the MCU a little bit more than I think we're going to realize, and it's actually going to continue. And it really does come down to Loki. Why this is coming after Loki.
Mm-hmm.
The multiverse has now completely split. I mean, you see the shattering of different things and this, that, and the other. We get the Watcher, full on get the Watcher. I mean, we saw the Watchers.
Voiced
and we saw
by the great Jeffrey Wright, by the way.
Yes,
what
yes,
a fucking
yes.
choice there.
We see Stan Lee talking to the Watchers. They finally canonized all that in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which was pretty neat. And everybody suspected that Stan Lee was a Watcher or the Watcher, but he's a liaison to the Watchers, whatever it is, which is pretty cool. And then we get our full-on actual Watcher of this the sector, Earth, whatever you want to say. But yeah, so honestly, the first episode right out the gate was like mind-blowing. I was done watching that. I was like, that was fucking incredible. That
Really
was a
good.
mini Captain America movie. And I know Captain America, the first Avenger, is also one of those ones that sometimes, oddly, people just thought was slow or boring or didn't like. There are some people out there. I love that movie. That is one of my favorite MCU movies. Again, the Captain America movies are some of my favorite of the MCU. I was really shocked just how much I really enjoyed this one. Now, it helps that you've got a lot of the voice actors. Listen, Dominic Cooper, as somebody who also enjoyed Preacher, give me Dominic Cooper all fucking day. Like, give me more young Stark, please, because Howard Stark is a fucking 10. Dominic Cooper is one of the, he's a character. So I love that he was back for sure finally to do that voice, and you could tell he was definitely in it, because anytime he even had a quip, it was them like, that's fucking Dominic Cooper there. But we got Haley Atwell back, which was huge as well too. We also got the guy that played and he was actually in the Agent Carter show. He's the butthead from fucking Billy Madison. What's his name? He's the one that
Bradley Whitford. Bradley Whitford. He's the general.
And to be honest, for a side piece character in a lot of movies,
good.
He's always been a little underrated to me. I think he's always just a fun. He's a good as a. I don't think he could maybe.
He was creepy
run a
as
full
fucking.
movie.
And was it Get Out? He was the dad.
Yeah, he was. He played like basically Rick from Rick and Morty and King of the Monsters, which I was fine with. I actually enjoyed.
Right.
I actually enjoyed that. Truth be told.
Yeah.
But anyways, this was a really cool take, and it was a simple one, right? You basically just swap in a couple spots, and they are like that.
Peggy doesn't leave the room. She stays in the room, and that's how she gets mixed up in it.
Boom, something happens, she gets injected, and she becomes.
I do like how they explored what it would be like for a woman to take over as Captain America, and how people weren't taking her serious.
They
did
which
a
was great.
great job
it was a
explaining,
great timepiece.
In that era, it was very difficult to, for some reason, for guys to be like, let a woman do anything important. And, for her to take on that Captain America role, I was like, okay, cool. I like how they're exploring this stuff and how she has to kind of win over. Even though she's a fucking badass, she still has to win people over. That's how it shows how ignorant guys were then. That's how they depict us, is because, she's like this badass, and he's still like, no woman can be in the field. I'm like, she'll fucking kill everybody in this room, dude. Are you stupid?
Right. No. But there was some scene for scene pull from the first Avenger, which was pretty cool, and I liked what they did with with it was a little weird because you saw like a really early style Iron Man suit with the Hydra Stomper, but it was fucking cool. It was like you saw her ride on the back of him like it was the Iron Giant or something like that or some shit, which was kind of fun. But really the big piece of that episode, outside of that I really took in was at the end when the tentacles came through.
Yes.
The Tesseract. Now, I might not dive into that too deep right now. I should probably talk about the second episode, but I feel like I'm going to kind of I'll give you. What do you want me to do?
I think we should just go to the second episode and then tie it all together at the end.
Right, and this is where we're going to come back. To the end of that, because I think it's a big piece of it. And I've been screaming about it for a better part of a year, and you guys heard this before. So, get to the second episode, and you've got basically T'Challa gets picked up instead of Peter Quill. They detect the meteor flower that gives the Black Panthers their power instead of the celestial blood that's in Peter Quill. So honestly, I felt this episode, while I love the fact, and it was very heartbreaking and very emotional to have Chadwick Boseman do the voice still. It was also, I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one, oddly. I don't know, which makes no sense to me. I don't know why, but I didn't. And maybe it's because it was just weird to have some of the character switches.
Yes.
I don't know what overall it was. It was still a cool episode. It's a cool concept. It just, like, of all the what ifs, that one to me is a little bit extra for me.
Right.
So it's really much harder for me to get into, I guess. However, that said, it was still cool. I like the premise of, Thanos basically being just like I'm not really a Mad Titan anymore. Like, I had a good talk with T'Challa here, and
at least some people in the chat. I love how he's still trying to convince people of his.
Yeah, it's fucking. That was a good bit.
Genocide, bro. He was like, no, it's just efficient.
Yeah, it was a really good bit. I mean, you know, and I do agree with that. Like, because they're short, they're half hour long. Like, some of that moves a little too fast. I don't feel like it really hurt the first one, but I think the second one it does hurt.
I think the second one felt
I think
a
it
little
definitely hurt it a little bit, but it was cool. You got Benicio del Toro doing the voice. We got fucking full on motherfucking Seth Green back to do Howard Duck and got a full bit out of that character. That was exciting as fuck. By the way, Leah Thompson saying that she wants Marvel to let her write a new Howard the Duck for the MCU.
What?
Dead serious.
Let her do it.
That's what I said too. So that was really fun and exciting. There's some really interesting things that the Collector has. He's got an X-wing sitting around. He's got Mjolnir in there, Cap shield. He's definitely beefy now. He definitely, since he filled the vacuum with no Mad Titan, so somebody's got to rise, take that place, and end up being him. I thought that was actually a neat take on it because he's got so much other shit and he's taking so much other stuff. But overall, the episode was fun. It was just I don't know. I had a harder time getting into it. Michael Rooker being back again was always great as well too.
Yeah, I love that he was back.
That was great.
It was really cool. I mean, with the exception of like Chris Pratt.
Yeah, because you even had Kurt Russell for a minute.
Yeah, Kurt Russell shows up for like one line at the end. So you don't have Chris Pratt, you don't have Chris Evans,
right.
You don't have David Bautista, and somebody mentioned that there was just a mix-up between Marvel and they couldn't get to him for it, but that's whatever. I mean, I'm not worried about. I mean, he's still going to show up later on in the next Guardians movie. With the exception of a few of the main characters, you had pretty much everyone there, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was there, and that was really cool.
Yeah, Sean Gunn.
Yep, Sean Gunn. Yeah, Sean Gunn was there.
Yeah, Captain.
Sebastian Stan was there. I mean, everybody was pretty much on board, which is pretty sweet. I wouldn't have expected that from an animated show. I really wasn't. I wasn't expecting to see a full-on cast.
I wouldn't expect either, but here we are sitting talking about fucking Disney. You know, they probably, matter of fact, even have it in some of their clauses. There's probably some contractual thing potentially. Like,
oh yeah, you know Disney and their contracts. They're gonna make sure they're covered.
And
everywhere.
even if it was just to walk in a studio for a few hours, the motherfuckers got paid.
Dude, Kurt Russell probably phoned that shit in from his cell phone.
Right.
I mean, literally, he shows up at the end, says his line, and you're like, oh shit, that's Kurt Russell. And
yeah,
like, and that's it.
Pretty cool.
Like,
when I saw his credit at the beginning, and I kept waiting the entire episode, that was waiting for the most. I'm like, fuck, I just got that. But anyways, good stuff. I can't wait to see more. But here's where I want to kind of like go off a little bit for a moment, and I want you guys to kind of follow this rabbit hole with me a little bit.
This is an interesting take.
This is the exciting part for me. So I've been saying for a long time, and I'm going to get to why it's exciting just due to the
One more thing with Crash. I like what he said there. I thought the second episode was better than the first. I liked how T'Challa remained a good-hearted person despite having a totally different origin.
I think that's fair, and I think that was clearly Chadwick was able to do the voice before that, but I don't know. And maybe again it's me, like because the Black Panther movies are honestly some of my favorite MCU. So I guess maybe I don't know what I wanted. I don't know. I'll have to watch it again, but I really liked the first one just a skosh more, and I think it was because again of Thanos and stuff like that. It was a little too extra far-fetched for me.
Right.
However, again, the series exists because of Loki. This shattered a whole lot of different things. This created a huge multiverse. If there was an infinite amount of possibilities, that is an infinite amount of a possibility of a storyline.
Nope.
So I get it. At the end of the first episode, you see the Tesseract, the Space Stone, whatever, pull. Basically, you see the tentacles come through, and that's kind of leads into with like the Hydra stuff as well too. You see Red Skull get peace out, which I thought was kind of funny but weird. But pretty sure we're looking at Shuma Gorath, and that's really exciting because I've been saying for a while that my hope and speculation for this phase leading into the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which again Loki's that kind of kickoff, a little bit of that Wanda as well too. Speaking, by the way, the Darkhold book has something to do with Shuma Gorath as well too, and also goes back to the original Doctor Strange. There's all these threads there. This Shuma Gorath has potential to be one of the next bigger villains and will probably be a central villain in the Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange that we know now as well too. It sounds like Tom Hiddleston's going to be involved somehow because there's been some adventures before with the three of them, Wakanda, with Wanda, Doctor Strange, and Loki. So there's a good chance we might see him involved as well too. what makes this exciting for me is because, as we all know, Sam Raimi is doing, the Multiverse of Madness. And I said I want this all to be another reason and a starting point to kind of spread into potentially a Spider-Verse, which is going to be Far From Home more than likely. We've already seen some leaks of one of the suits he has, which is like some Doctor Strange outfits and shit like that as well too. So it's all these like fanboy speculations. This is one of those ones that I feel like on the rarest of occasion there's some stuff that's kind of starting to line up, and I don't think everybody is seeing this for the bigger picture. I could be wrong in that. I'm just really excited about that. So Shumagorath is really based off of originally some Lovecraft writings. Absolutely. As we all know, like the greater gods, the elder gods, etc. Cosmic horror, things like that. This is Marvel's take on that. Parts of WandaVision, especially at the end, the Darkhold and things like that, which is I thought maybe might be like the Necronomicon or whatever it could be, something like that, which is kind of like the Necronomicon. All these things are Lovecraftian in originality and nature. Sam Raimi
is very Lovecraftian.
Right. There's a handful of directors in Hollywood who are known for having love for Lovecraftian. John Carpenter, Sam Raimi,
Guillermo del Toro.
Yep, Guillermo del Toro. These guys have like Lovecraftian love and stuff like that. So now here we got a guy who, by the way, Evil Dead. Talk about Necronomicon. Right. Necronomicon is also something from Lovecraft writings as well too, and everything that's going on with that, and some of the space cosmic horror stuff. And now he's doing, the Multiverse of Madness, which I was always excited about because I'm like, if anybody's gonna do horror that's very potential Lovecraftian, this is the guy you want to do it. And now in this episode, we see Shumagorath, who is based off all that same stuff. Also happens to be somebody that Doctor Strange has dealt with numerous times. She's using the Darkhold at the end of WandaVision. It's all like slowly converging. So with all that said, with all this crazy shit that has a lot of correlation, and I hope really does come to fruition, most of this I just want to be able to get to that Spider-Verse, but I'm really, again, excited about this Doctor Strange movie. There is potential because of what we saw from that episode and all these episodes really initially. Could we, because she was pulled in 70 years in that,
right?
Could we see actually Haley Atwell in the MCU suit up?
Oh shit,
that might be neat.
Crash says Multiverse of Madness needs to be like 4 hours long.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Dude, with everyone involved, dude, look, if you want to make a movie 3 hours, 3.5 hours, I'm cool with it as long as it's fucking good, as long as it's interesting, as long as there's the minute you're in a 3.5 hour movie or something ridiculous like Waterworld and it gets fucking lame after a while, you're like, okay, this sucks. It really starts to wear on you. If they want to make a long-ass fucking movie like that, I'm down because I love the characters. I love Sam Raimi. If anyone's going to keep me attached to the screen for 3 hours or more, it's going to be Sam Raimi.
Right. And that's what I'm excited about. So all this, that's been it's such rumor. Like, I don't want to even like really try to poke that, but it would be really amazing if they wanted to do it right and tie in these cartoons and do it right. That would be a really cool way to fucking do it.
What's that, Captain Carter and the Multiverse of Madness?
Bring Captain Carter somehow in the Multiverse of Madness. So all this stuff could be like all leading into some crazy ass shit, which I've been saying for a while. I know, Mystic Mike. I know. I heard him say it. I wasn't gonna bring it up.
How about, can I say Postman? Can we make fun of Postman?
Yeah, we can.
The Postman, for Christ's sakes, that movie was shit.
All right,
it was worse than fucking Waterworld. Go ahead.
Right. I've just been sitting around with my tinfoil hat for a long time with during COVID, talking about who's gonna film this movie. We got Sam Raimi involved, and now I'm starting to see all these things I've been wanting to say, and I've said numerous little times here. Like I always say, I just want this to lead into Spider-Man. I want this. I want Doctor Strange to be this. And now this shit. And now we see Shuma. And we don't know it's Shuma for sure. It actually hasn't been said. However, come on. Clearly, it's Shumagorath. So,
yeah,
too many things to converge. Too many things. There's. It all comes back to this. There's too many things to be a coincidence.
Right. It's kind of like the abandoned thing. Just too many coincidences, right? It's gotta be
absolutely.
Hideo Kojima.
It's gotta be. Yeah, the people trying to say it's not. Yeah.
I don't know about that, but no, I like everything that you're talking about. I mean, the thing that WandaVision and Loki and now this have done, man, it has seriously generated a lot of discussion, a lot of ways to interpret what's going on and what it could lead to. And I fucking find that so exciting, man, because that leaves so many opportunities. There's so many directions that Disney and Marvel can take these shows now, setting everything up. And again, we have no idea what to expect. All we can go based on is what we've seen from these shows and all these fucking articles coming about, oh, here, look, Tom Hiddleston, and we also think Tobey Maguire's involved now, and all this stuff. So, I mean, there's something going on. And I don't think they would kick out these shows if there wasn't some kind of indicator or something saying, this is what we're leading to. This isn't just a bunch of short stories where people do different things. And I think Crash said, or White Wolf said it down here, I want to see what he says. I also want to point out that so far these alternate universes have turned out better than the original timeline. Steve wasn't there to screw up and lose a Tesseract, and Bucky T'Challa was able to make revenge kind of good, and Thanos is a good guy. It just shows how poorly chosen these characters were. That's not what he said. What was the one thing? Gosh, somebody said something, and I'm trying to find it.
Stiffing Bautista?
No, it was something regarding characters, and you guys are throwing so much good shit out there, and I'm trying to find this one. Anyone knows it? I'll try to find it, but keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
continue your
thought. Then there's not a whole lot left to say at that point. I just know that what's exciting about this speculation is that we didn't really have the ability to do that in the last phases because it was set there for us. We knew they were building to Thanos. We knew that they were getting the Infinity Stones. There wasn't a lot of, like, what's going on in secrecy. I mean, you heard Feige himself say, yeah, we're not going to show any trailers from Far From Home.
That's what he said. I'm sorry. Thank you. Well, I appreciate it. He goes, I think it might be a speed run of what happened in other alternate universes so that that we understand some of the characters we'll be seeing in the next phase.
And I think that too. And I
think
that gives us the ability to be open to, and this is why this stuff is important, like Loki and these sort of things, because now that the multiverse is open and we can potentially see X-Men and things like that, we're going to start seeing weird and crazy shit and different obscure characters. And instead of trying to think, well, that don't make sense because I don't see that before, now it don't matter. Now you're going to be open to, like, here's some new shit you've never seen before, casual audience guy, but you're going to enjoy it because it's awesome and we've got it for you here. So, but again, that's what I think's happening is that it's exciting because we don't know.
Right.
There's
Absolutely.
no, like, the MCU has been pretty, for the most part,
predictable.
Kind of, yeah, in some ways. Like, you didn't know that, Scarlett Johansson's, guys, I try to call her, you didn't know that she would eventually get pieced out and then sue Disney, but, some things we just don't see. But, here we've got so much interesting things going on. Feige said, hey, I'm not going to show you a trailer Far From Home.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know about, a lot of the extra phase. Like, how is Shang-Chi going to fit into this now?
Right.
Good question.
Man,
we got
talk about the hype behind
we didn't even
that
play
movie.
the Eternals trailer for you that dropped, and that was fucking incredible,
Yeah, I
too.
thought the Eternals trailer was really good because they actually answered some of the questions that people have been asking, like, why weren't they...
Yep, answers a little bit of those questions.
They literally asked them, like, they're like, why weren't you helping
Yep.
when this was all going on? And that's when they explained, hey, we were told to fucking stay out of it.
And while it looks like it's going to be a self-contained, it's not going to be a self-contained because the MCU doesn't really do self-contained anymore.
They'll sell it as self-contained, but there's going to be something that'll...
Some of those characters, Black Knight, I think it is, ends up being a member of the Avengers, things like that. So there's definitely a lot of things that are going on once again with this phase. There's a lot of exciting things, and there's things that are exciting about it because, like, I just don't feel like everybody is able to put the two and two together. Some people are, but as I'm looking at everything, it's just making me so excited, again, as always, to see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, because I think it's going to be a fucking trippy, wild ride, and because it potentially is going to have a lot of Lovecraftian feel to it.
Yeah. No, that's... Like I said, I'm really excited for that, for the Multiverse of Madness. That's going to be hot. Seriously, man, I'm, like, really excited for that. But you mentioned Shang-Chi, and actually they just had the opening night or the premiere for, like, critics and whatnot, and the talk about the action set pieces in this movie, like, being the new the new standard for MCU movies, that's fucking big talk, dude. Like, there's a lot of people talking about, like, a lot of critics and whatnot. I don't think they can score it yet, But a lot of them are like, just like, look, this movie's fucking wild. Like the action is crazy good.
2 weeks?
2 weeks. So next week and the week after that, following Thursday is when it comes out. So it's September 2nd.
Mandate.
It's Thursday. Oh, we're going. We're going to get tickets. We'll be there for that for sure.
Wow.
So really excited about the hype that's building for Shang-Chi. We also found out today that it is official. Anthony Mackie has been signed on to play Captain America and Captain America 4. So it's fucking official. Cap 4, Anthony Mackie will don the shield. He's the man, the myth, so that's awesome to hear. That's official now. I'm glad they're not going to just keep that on Disney+. He's going to
be on the big screen.
Movie. So that is really fucking exciting. Some cool developments. We're starting to see things kind of like unfold further on down the line. It's really exciting, man. Like, I'm really excited for this next phase. Crash says there was a photo set leak that may have spoiled what happened to T'Challa. Probably. Yeah, I am curious to what they will do with his character now that the multiverse is open. Do you think, is there any way, and I mean, I'm just spitballing here. I mean, you look at the characters from the, from Black Panther, and you think about the people that were involved. Yeah, obviously, Michael B. Jordan's character Michael B. Jordan's a phenomenal actor. Do you think there's any way through a multiverse that they could somehow bring him into the fold to kind of play, I don't want to say Black Panther, but like be the next in line or that fill that role or fill that gap?
I think it's I don't think they will with that character.
You don't think so?
No,
There's no way they could tweak. Like, he doesn't have any kind of like.
Right. I think they're gonna. I mean, Killmonger's been around. I don't know if Killmonger.
Do you think that's too much of a stretch? Like, that's like kind of.
No,
like
I don't. I just
don't.
I think they're gonna really lean fast into passing the torch to Shuri. I mean, she's had the mantle before, anyways, and clearly, even though she's been a side character, she's a fan favorite. She can carry. She can carry Flick.
Yeah, she can do Flick.
It.
Absolutely,
she can do it. So, yeah, no, I think it's either be her or maybe Lupita's character. I can't remember her name, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm honestly like of course it's unfortunate that we don't have Chadwick to continue to play Black Panther. The reason I'm excited about the that movie is potentially the continued rumors that we're gonna get to fight the Atlanteans and actually get Namor finally in the MCU. So
shit, okay,
that's my biggest excitement about that and hope.
Hell yeah, awesome. Well, that was a good talk. There was a good conversation. We have one more thing we want to talk about.
Do we?
Really exciting stuff tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Our boy getting a shot at the X Division Championship. Jake something going up against the reigning X Division champion, Josh Alexander, 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. Tone.
7 p.m. That's wild.
What do you think, man? I mean, what do you like Jake's? I like Jake. Obviously, anytime Jake's in the ring, he can eat somebody.
I got to be honest with you. Of course, I really, really want Jake to get the strap. I really want him to get the belt. Josh is a really good wrestler as well too. This is going to be a hell of a fight because you've got one guy who can wrestle and he's a crazy bruiser, and you got another guy who can wrestle like incredibly well too.
He's very athletic,
dude.
Very athletic.
This is going to be one hell of a damn match. Now, as Emergence is a PPV, so I'm gonna guess you're gonna want to catch it like some like Fight.tv or something like that. I don't know if it's one of their full-fledged like $30-$40 ones, or it might be like just a $10 or $12 one. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed. We've wanted Jake something to become Jake something in Impact for a long time, and he finally got to be Jake something and is himself now finally. And man, like if there's one thing he needs, it's definitely a strap. And you know what? Love Josh Alexander. He's one of my favorite on Impact. Incredible wrestler. I say Jake's going to get the belt. This is what I'm going with. And I hope, this is my hope though, Jake's going to get the belt. And even though I know Rohit's feuding a little bit with Matt Cardona, which I want to see play out, I really, really, really want to see Rohit and Jake battled out again for that fucking belt. So that's my personal hope. No, honestly, of all the people that he could wrestle, that Jake could be up against in Impact, first of all, the X Division's amazing anyways.
Yeah.
This is one of the top people I would say. That's who I want to see in a match like this, is definitely Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, he's incredibly athletic. He's a fucking really good wrestler. But to see Jake be able to finally get that shot at the belt, You know he's gonna bring that pain. He's gonna bring the heat. This is gonna be a fucking epic battle, and I'm hoping.
Stoked.
I hope Jake gets that belt. I really do. I mean, the guy has come a long ways. He's finally doing his thing. He's working his ass off. He's a hell of a fucking wrestler. Every time he goes onto the mat, he is fucking just destroying people. Like even when he loses, he just has his way with the other guy, and he's entertaining. He's charismatic, and he's a fucking monster, dude.
He's a fucking monster.
If Josh Alexander is gonna have to be very agile, because if Jake gets his claws on him, he's gonna hurt.
He's gonna eat him.
He's going to take a huge bite out of him, and it's going to be an epic battle. So tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on Impact Plus or wherever you can get it, check it out. Jake Something versus Josh Alexander, an emergence for the X Division title.
And since we've been recently been able to call Romit Aju, I have been trying to get coined, and I'm going to say both because it depends on the mood, whether Jake makes me upset or not. I've been calling him Cake Something.
Cake Something.
Or
I dare you to call it to his face.
I already did.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Oh,
You're alive?
Over voice.
Over voice. Yeah, it's a little bit different than to his face.
Well, then if he's around me, I'll just call him Steak Something.
That's respectful. That's respectful.
Right. It's respectful.
You're Steak Something. I
Cake
like
something.
that actually. That's actually pretty good. But Tone, that is going to do it for episode number 51. And just again, quick shout out to Booty Haver for being a part of episode 50. Episode 50 was a fucking just incredible experience. It was a hell of a lot of fun. And we can't thank her enough for being here and being a part of it and bringing her energy and bringing her she's just a positive vibe. You know, she's just a fun girl.
Fun as fuck.
And we had a blast doing it. And so we're happy to be a part of her fan base. Like just watching her grow and having her be on the show was an awesome experience. So we're happy to head into the fall now. The episode next week is going to be a fall preview. So what we're going to do is next week we're going to talk about some of the games, movies, TV shows we're really excited about that are dropping between next week and December. We'll have a lot of great stuff to talk about. We want you to pick out some movies, games, or TV shows that you're excited about. Tell us why. We want to have a big discussion next week. So there is going to be a lot to discuss. We're going to grab a couple of movies, games, TV shows each, ones that we're really excited about. I'm sure Candyman will be a part of the discussion somewhere. If not, Al Blanco, you can talk about Candyman. You can talk about Candyman. So we'll have a lot to talk about next week. Make sure you're here 9 p.m. Eastern, episode number 52 of Banter Babble. Tuesday night, not in stone yet, but more than likely we're going to do a B&B Plays. Check out Aliens Fire Team. Check that out Tuesday night. See if that is going to be a good game.
And as far as content, tomorrow we're going to watch, or this weekend we're going to watch Reminiscence. So be ready for that next week. Well, we're going to have another What If as well. And we're also going to talk, if we do get that in stone, Aliens. And then, maybe the rest of the time we'll be able to dive into all the fall stuff we're excited about.
Yeah. So should be a jam-packed show next week. Yeah. So thank you guys and girls, everyone that showed up. Appreciate the subs. Mystic Mike, thank you so much for the gifted subs, man. We appreciate that support. We hope each and every one of you has a great weekend. We'll see you next Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Twitch. For Fanboytone, I'm TheDude79. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Have a good night. Have a great weekend. See you soon.